Good evening to everyone. Welcome to the webinar. On behalf of SRM Arts and Science College, I welcome you all. Today we are going to see the topic Pandemic Lessons and Opportunities and Being Ready for a Post-COVID Workforce. So today we will be seeing different aspects of the pandemic. So in today's webinar, I'll begin with what is pandemic and how different is this current pandemic, what lessons we have learned from the past and present pandemic, and then what are the opportunities that has presented itself once this pandemic came up, and how can we be ready for work. So how best can we be prepared for work? That also we'll be covering in today's webinar. To begin with, COVID-19, coronavirus disease 2019. 2019 refers to the year in which this outbreak began. It started in Wuhan, China. I'm sure that everyone is aware of it. And if you look at the virus, it is SARS-CoV-2. So SARS-CoV-2 or group of coronavirus, it's not a new virus to infect humans or infect mankind. There are a number of other viruses which have infected all human beings across all continents. So let us see what are they. Human coronavirus family, it consists of 7 viruses which actually affect humans. So if you see here, the last two, I'm sure that all of us are aware of SARS-CoV-2 and SARS-CoV, and here you have the MERS-CoV. So these are recent infections which happened. But if you see the first 4 that year, the HCoVs, these are the most successful viruses which has infected humans. So why do we say these are the most successful viruses? These viruses are responsible for most of the common cold infections. So the causes of common cold are the first 4 viruses, which consist of 1/3 of all the common cold situations that are seen in all continents. So in humans, the common cold has a very high transmission rate, and these viruses are better in spreading because they don't make the host severely sick. So the work of the virus is it cannot survive by itself. So it needs another host, it needs another body in which it can survive. So what happens is this virus uses another body system to survive, and then from that body system, they travel to another person. So in this way, the common cold has spread to all, and this is also one of the groups of coronaviruses. Other organisms and other animals also contain coronaviruses. For example, bats. Bats contain a number of different coronaviruses, but it does not affect them at all. And the viruses in the bats survive, and they keep moving from one bat to the other without effect. When this virus enters into the human population, then we refer to it as a zoonotic virus. So when the zoonotic virus spreads into the human population, that's where disease effects and all the negative effects that you see in the population. So unless herd immunity or vaccination is developed or administered, then there is no other solution to it. So we will see a little more about it in the coming slides. Zoonotic viruses. Zoonotic viruses will just go through the history of what are the classic cases that has led to pandemics. So in 2003, SARS came. SARS is severe acute respiratory syndrome. It started in China, and from bats and civet cats, the scientists have predicted that it's from these animals that they have come. If you see, the death rate is 9.6%. 8,000 people were affected, 812 deaths, and around 9.6% of death rate was observed. The SARS transmitted from one human being to another human being by transmission through respiratory aerosols, and only people who are in close contact with the patient actually saw the symptoms. So mostly the SARS was spread during a healthcare facility or when you are taking in close contact with the patient and taking care of the patient. The SARS is considered as a low transmission virus. It doesn't spread across so easily compared to what we are seeing today. The next that came in 2012 was from camels. They are known as dromedaries in Saudi Arabia. From those camels, and the coronavirus spread into human population that led to a 35% death rate. Again, it was a very low transmission. Any body fluids, from body fluids and secretions and blood, only from there the spread of the virus happened from animal to human. And human to human transmission was low, and this is also considered as a very low transmission virus. The next, I'm sure, which all have heard, is Ebola virus. The Ebola virus is different virus compared to the coronavirus family. The Ebola, naturally it is present in fruit, bats, monkeys, and it does not cause any danger or harm to them. But In 2014-2016, there was an outbreak in Guinea where it transferred from the fruit bats and monkeys into human beings. There, the transmission again is from blood and body fluids, and the patient showed vomiting and diarrhea, and people who are in close touch with them, and people who are working with the dead bodies and cleaning the patients, those people were most affected. And it had the once they were affected, it was a very severe disease where it led to 67% of death. Again, the transmission here is considered to be low transmission means spread from one human to another human. Recently in Kerala, in 2018, there was a Nipah virus effect. The Nipah virus usually has the WHO defines Nipah virus to have a spread or death rate of 40% to 75%. But in the outbreak that happened in India in 2018, it was a 91% death rate. 23 people were affected and 21 people did not survive. Again, the transmission here is through body fluids, and also Nipah also present in the aerosols. So the patients show diarrhea and the patients show vomiting, and these are the reasons why the people surrounding them, the visitors, the caretakers, the healthcare workers, they were the ones who were affected by the Nipah and close family members. So all these diseases, even though they have high death rate, they're considered to be low transmission because they do not spread so easily among population. So let us see what we are facing today. COVID 2019, the overall death is high. The mortality rate, if you see, different countries show different mortality rate. That is, they show a range of 1% to 3%. So India shows a mortality rate of 2.8%, and it shows a high transmission. Why high transmission? This virus spreads easily through aerosols. So even before sneezing, coughing, and severe symptoms of the virus begins in a person, the aerosols through breathing and speaking can spread to another person, and the disease has spread so rapidly to all continents. Another thing is today we are because of the globalization and very fast movement of people across countries through airways. This spread has happened very fast. So 2019, it was detected, December, it was detected in China. And initially, now the reports come that in Spain and Germany, what was considered as a pneumonia, the spread of pneumonia because of winter or extreme winter during December month, may have been this virus itself. So that was a high range or the fast, spread of the virus that had happened when it comes to COVID. So will this pandemic end? So we have started with a lockdown, and now this question is, will this end? Oh, yes, this pandemic can end. So let us understand how this pandemic can end before we go further. So if you see this image, this is reflects a demo. It's a demo image of a population. So if you see this red, these individuals, suppose a foreign virus from an animal has entered into a human population. So what happens is this is a new virus. People have not encountered this virus before, and some people will, react and produce very strong symptoms, and some will not survive. Those people who do not survive are shown here in red. The other group of population that you see yellow, they are exposed to the population, they get the disease, they survive through it, they show all the symptoms, their immune system is able to fight against it, and they are able to come out of that infection. So these people immune system has been active against the virus, and now they have immunity for that virus. So after they recover from the virus, they are no more spreading the virus in the form of aerosols or sneezing or coughing. It does not happen. So what are these green people? The green are individuals who have never exposed to the virus. If green individuals are always surrounded by individuals who have already immune, they are now already received it and now they are immune. This saves the green person also because they are surrounded by people who can actively kill the virus in their body system and they are not going to show symptoms again. So when this all the population receive the virus and they are actively they are able to survive the virus and their immune system is active against the virus, we say it is a state of herd immunity. So if a herd immunity has to be achieved, the virus has to spread through all the individuals in the population or the majority of the individuals of the population. There is one method, that is that. So there is a shortcut to achieve this herd immunity, that is vaccination. If we are able to achieve a vaccination, then all the individuals can be can be given, can be immunized. And in immunization, a small part of the virus or inactive form of the virus is introduced into the person. So when a smaller inactive virus is introduced, that person recognizes that it is foreign, and they produce antibodies, and their immune system gets recognized that this is a foreign particle. And when there is any exposure, the body is already prepared to fight against that infection. So these are the solutions: herd immunity, vaccination, and if both the things are taking time, the other is contact tracing. So what happens though? Like if you see the person who is showing the symptoms, we need to isolate that person. We have to identify who all came in contact with this person, isolate those people. So unless there are vaccination or anything, this is the solution that the community should follow. So this is why we have gone into the lockdown, and this is the reason why people who are showing symptoms and the family members and the individuals who are contacted with them, they are being isolated so that we can stop the spread of the virus. So in this, effective contact tracing, isolation, and social distancing, this is what we are. This is the stage that we are in, and lots of works are going on to bring out a virus soon. So what has the past and the current pandemics taught us? So pandemics are not new to world, and there are so many pandemics which has come and gone. Let us see what it teaches. Viruses do not spare the young, healthy individuals with active immune system. So why I say is that all age groups can come under the negative effects of the virus. So the age groups of higher age groups are more prone, and the death rate is higher. If you see this graph, this is from the CDC website. You can see that this red refers to 80 years and above. The yellow line is 70, 75 plus, 65 plus, 55 plus, and so on. So if you see, death and fatality is observed in all the age groups, and the higher age groups are more prone to this virus. So we know that when the age in higher elderly people, the immune system is compromised, and there are situations of secondary problems like heart blood pressure problem, diabetes, and they have other ailments which prevents the immune system to work well. But why is that there are younger individuals are also facing this problem? So for that, we should understand one word known as cytokine storm. So let us assume a body where, suppose a foreign molecule or foreign virus or a bacteria is entering in our body system. When something foreign enters, our body immediately recognizes it as an enemy, and our immune system gets activated, and it releases a number of soldiers to fight against that particular infection. So one of these foot soldiers are the cytokines. The work of the cytokine is the attack. They produce large number of molecules, and they keep attacking the foreign particle or molecule. So when a person is COVID positive, all these cytokines start to increase to fight against a particular virus. So they start showing symptoms that is fever, cough, body pain. All these are the effects that your immune system is active. So in most of the individuals, 80% of the individuals, once a virus is brought down, the immune system comes down to a stable level. But in certain population of the individual, even after the virus is controlled, the cytokine storm is not in control. So what it does is very high amount of the body is always the immune system is in a panic mode, thinking that you have to keep fighting, resulting in attack on its own cells and tissues. This is why lung, kidney, liver, these organs are getting affected, leading to organ failure, even coma and death. So this is a reason where even if there was some individuals, youngsters also who have active immune system, may because of the cytokine storm, overactivation of their immune system happens, and they leads to fatal situations. The second lesson that we can learn is any likely outbreak should be taken seriously. So initially what happened in China was when the virus began to spread, the governments tried to control it, saying that there was nothing serious. And many, fearing the economic situation, many countries actually took the response that, it's not a issue. But actually a small outbreak in today's time, because of globalization, it can spread out very fast. So that is why any outbreak should be taken seriously. So if an outbreak has to be taken seriously, then all communities also must work together. Right now, the country is in lockdown, and we hope that in the coming days, the numbers will reduce and we can work again and go out into the population. Suppose if there is an outbreak again, then the community's healthcare workers should immediately report and immediately take steps so that it does not spread even further. So early identification will give us precious time to stop the development of into a pandemic. So why do people refrain from coming out? So one of the thing is stigmatization and marginalization of the people. So we have to understand that all of us are in this together. So the affected individuals, the communities, and these people should be given a support. Support in the sense like the person who is COVID positive or the family who has members of COVID, they also face a lot of psychological burden. So at least for a good mentoring and good support system to such communities will help them to survive and come out of the virus, follow proper social distancing. So the lack of transparency will lead to more problems in a community. Collaboration is important. So if it is transparent, we can collaborate with different healthcare workers of different communities can work together. Governments of different countries can work together. Institutions can work together to receive a good. I'll give you an example for this. So one of the diseases which we have successfully eradicated all over the world is smallpox. The smallpox vaccine, so 3,000 years, and it has a very high death rate of up to 40%. And after the introduction of the vaccine, so all governments through WHO, communities, right from the media to governments, community healthcare workers, everyone joined together to bring about a rapid, vaccination program, which helped us to eradicate this deadly disease. The next lesson I would like to share is social distancing works. So everyone is aware of this word social distancing, and I like to give you the example. This picture that you are seeing is of the Spanish flu in 1918. The Spanish flu 1918, the World War I had just come to an end, and that time was the outbreak of this influenza virus. And soldiers and people moving from different started to spread out this spread this virus to other communities. This also had an effect of what we are facing today, that's COVID. It was as strong and the transmission rate was very high for the Spanish flu 1918. So I give you an example of two cities. One city is St. Louis, USA. As soon as the information of the virus spread, immediately they went into social distancing and schools and institutions, they were closed down. And there's another city, Philadelphia. At the same time, they went ahead with a major parade and they had celebrations and they carried out as life as usual. So immediately you observe, if you see the graph here, this is a graph of Philadelphia where there was a very high spike of death rate, and this is the St. Louis. The St. Louis was able to flatten the curve and bring down the death rate and did not overwhelm the hospitals. So here there was, the people went into a very, community went into a tragic situation because the hospitals were overwhelmed with number of deaths and number of active patients. So St. Louis followed this and they had, flattened the curve and they were able to bring down the number of affected and number of deaths. But after some time, they stopped social distancing as the community started to work and follow social distancing. Soon afterwards, there was again a spike. So this is what we need to remember. Even when we are going for work or even in the future, we should always be aware that there is a possible outbreak. So we have to consciously take steps, maintain social distancing as much as possible, and follow the guidelines. So if everything is normal, usually human beings have a response of forgetting what bad happened and then moving on with our life. So that thing should not, again repeat it now. So from 24th March onwards, India is in a lockdown. So we had various forms of lockdown, and now slowly it's opening up. And many institutions are starting up with 50%, 30% work, and different types of situations can be seen in each state, and also the world over. You can see how the economies are reacting and people are reacting. So what are the opportunities? So we see so much negative issues, and what are the opportunities that we can see? So one thing is, there was a huge range of challenges for businesses, institutions, whether it is a small business or whether it's a large, and all categories, institution, education, business, all are affected. And just as there are these real challenges, also some opportunities and some positive things have come on. So let us see if we can utilize these opportunities. The first thing is medicine, research, and development. So all over the world, we are advanced, and the global, actually, the medicine and the advances we have made in the medical field are tremendous. So we are, the HIV was able to be controlled. There are so many new sets of, disease control and management has come up, because actually normalizing the situation of so many patients. But when a pandemic of this effect came, countries all over the world realized that they are underprepared for such a pandemic. And this has triggered all countries, I can say all countries, to bring about new impetus into the healthcare system, develop reforms and better strategies that can support the healthcare system. So, right now, the most vulnerable people are the healthcare workers, the doctors, the nurses, and the people, associate people who are working in the hospitals. So, major reforms and better strategies have been announced, which can help the healthcare workers, which is a positive change in this field. So let us see if, what has done in the last few months. First and foremost, the Indian Epidemic Diseases Act. They made it was an offence against doctors and nurses non-bailable and carrying imprisonment terms of 6 months to 7 years. So in case any harm and damage is done to the healthcare workers. The second is a 50 lakh insurance cover to the healthcare workers dealing with coronavirus pandemic. And the third is there is we realize that there is no PPE manufacturing happening in the country. So there was no domestic manufacturing of PPE, and we were dependent on other countries to get our PPE. Right now, we have 111 indigenous manufacturers, and a 7,000 crore industry in India has come up with the just after China. So there's a big boom in the pharmaceutical industry. Indian pharma industry has been a world leader in generic drugs. So you all may be aware that hydrochloroquine. So this drug was, we have exported it at this situation. India has exported it to other countries. And what trend has happened is this has given a big boost to the pharma industry, and the world has recognized the India's input and India's power in this field. This stand which India has received in this COVID times, it has made us a very important player in the field of pharmaceutical industry in the eyes of the world. This can help in ramping up exports in pharmaceuticals, and India can become a preferred medical tourist destination, providing good quality secondary and tertiary health services and provide affordable treatment. Besides this, medical diplomacy by providing medical training and technical expertise to nations whose healthcare systems are lesser than that of India. In this field itself, there is another thing called as telemedicine or online consultation. So online consultation was a field which doctors or patients, they did not prefer in India, because they always wanted, individual to individual face-to-face interaction with the person or the patient to understand it. So there are, when a patient reaches the hospital, it is not just the doctor. There are a number of other people, the nurses, the admin team and the receptionists, who help a patient to connect to the right doctors and help in the treatment process. So with this COVID and the lockdown, many people were not able to go to the larger hospitals, and hospitals have in turn brought out this, smaller units or smaller clinics which work in online consultation. So the advantages of the online consultation is there is not a requirement, there is no need for a trained doctor to be present there. The nurses, biotechnologists, microbiologists, and pharmacists, these types of additional healthcare workers can actually support these individual units. So the importance of these units were also so recognized that finally Ministry of Health and Family Welfare has brought in guidelines on how the countries or on how the hospitals should start these online consultation. So in the future, the hospital administration also planning to bring about smaller clinics in different areas. With, you can see the setup with a webcam, a screen, and a representative from the hospital who can help the patients to connect with them. And even they can collect samples. So if there is a blood work, whatever, the online consultation, this is a new upcoming business plan which all the top hospitals are strategizing upon, so that they can bring about these individual units in different areas, even in villages and rural areas. And if need be, then from there the patients are sent to the major hospitals. Also, it also helps the local communities, because they provide up their space for telemedicine and gain from the rent, and that's also a business prospect. The next is research and development. So in this 3 months, several new strategies were developed, and several labs and hospitals in India have been helped by the government to establish research, especially in the field of COVID-19. So over 50 COVID-19 candidates are under clinical trials in India. India has allocated about 200 crore for new COVID-19 projects. Direct DBT offers 50 lakhs funding, and it has already announced 16 to funding to 16 projects in different parts of the country. And this is one of the examples where WHO has, initiated COVID-19 clinical trials in 5 hospitals. So this actually boosts up, and these are just examples where the research and development in the field of health and medicine and studies are. So these labs are getting a push to develop their resources, to develop their infrastructure, and this is a good time to spread out in the research and development field. Now, coming other than the medicine and research and development, let us see what is right now happening to other businesses and institutions. So all businesses and institutions are right now facing with the challenge of work from home. So work from home strategies have continued, and many institutions and businesses which had never tried that are now incorporating this work from home strategies. So what are the advantages in work from home? It cuts down the space for the companies, where they don't have to spend money on expensive commercial space. It reduces electricity and maintenance, and employees benefit from the saved hours of commute, and they also report higher cases of productivity. So let us see some of the things, advantages that people have reported for work from home. Flexible hours, travel time and costs, less disruptions, more productive, better work and life balance. Environmental impact is tremendous. Expands work options beyond the local area, reduces sick days, lowers the need to relocate, and other personal benefits. So recently, TCS has announced that by the year of 2020, they plan, or they have put into a strategy where 75% of their employees will be given the option of work from home, and at a time they will have about 25% people working at site. So these are the kind of changes which has happened in the industry, and this has brought in many positive effects into the situation. The next is automation innovation. So if people are working from home, and you need lesser people at the office, there are also the upcoming of automation innovation in the industry. So this is a good news for engineers and the computer science people, where they should be skilled, and to develop new tools, softwares, and coding, which is also getting a good importance in this COVID and post-COVID field. So most businesses are looking for automated techniques to increase their productivity. Like, for example, the use of robots. So one you would have seen in the news where the robots are installed in Stanley Medical Hospital, where the robots are actually, instead of the nurses going and giving food and medicines, the robots are employed to reduce the contact with the COVID patients. So this reduces the risk to the healthcare workers. Another thing is cobots. Cobots are like, they are also automated instruments used for welding, and Bajaj Auto and several other engineering institutes, they use the cobots for hole tightening, welding. And these kinds of innovations and automation techniques are what is required at this time. So I've provided a link here. Insights Dice has given a report on what are the different coding programming languages that engineers and computer science graduates can learn, which will actually help them in the post-COVID as a opportunity for jobs. So you can go through that article. And next is education. So education after the lockdown, it has pushed educators and students into the online field, adopting online tools to reach out to the students, and teachers are looking for different ways to reach out to the students, to counsel them, to evaluate them, teach them, to revise their portions, to mentor. And this lockdown has turned out to be an excellent catalyst to bring about digitalization in the Indian education, which was actually lacking in the last few years. The opportunities, it's an opportunity for faster and hassle-free faculty collaboration, sharing of information, and this will have a positive impact on education in the long run. So even universities and policymakers are also thinking of teaching online. If even if the main courses, the major full-time courses, a small part of the courses can be included online, so that it reduces the time of travel for the students, and which require direct peer-to-peer interaction and practicals. Those things can be brought directly into the college with normal classroom and practical teaching. However, this is not a complete solution, and direct face-to-face teaching and normal classroom teaching is still considered to be the most effective. This is what students and teachers have, worldwide given the feedback. But what are the benefits? Let's see the benefits of online teaching. One is flexibility. The attend classes and courses anywhere with a computer and access to the net. And then accessibility, a global knowledge. Students can control their study times for long periods. They don't have to sit and they can pause and resume the lessons when they want to. A chance for interaction with the, they feel that they are more comfortable interacting online, and cost effective because of the transportation accommodation which can be reduced, and students are given the opportunity to choose between various schools and courses, and the learning becomes more student centric. So, if not for the full-time courses, now the change that is going to happen is introduction of short-term online courses. So more universities are planning to introduce short-term courses. So one of the thing is, so mostly the courses which we see, the full-time courses, are the financially viable and courses which have large number of intake of students. When we go for shorter courses, 6 months course or a 6 months course, 3 months course, students get to choose from a number of courses which are generally not available in a particular college or institution. This gives them the edge or gives them the help to apply for better jobs and gives them more job opportunities. So this is not only for students, even those who are employed, for the who are currently working, online courses, in addition of these learning of new courses helps them in upskilling or improving their profile, and giving them better job opportunities in the future. So I've given shared with you a list of accredited courses where short-term courses can this when people have more time in the lockdown, and if they are having a issue of to balance that, if they have more time and because of the lockdown and because of work from home, they may find time to join some courses. So we have Swayam. This is a 9 national collaborators, and a wide number of courses is available in Swayam. Other than that, this is by Government of India, and other than that also you have Coursera, Simply Learn, and the LinkedIn Learning, which is early called Linda. So all these also provide us online courses which are in different fields. In all fields, you can find these courses. So next is entrepreneurship. So now with the lockdown, many people have the much needed thing called time. So earlier, when in the busy schedule, many employees or people who are working used to think that I want to start something and I want to start my own work or own company, but they didn't. They were always limited by time to think, to plan, to strategize, and to collaborate with other people. So this opportunity right now is people who want to go into entrepreneurship, they can think, and they are given the time to plan, think, and mix up with other people and start something new. So here I have shared with you some. These are all links to government schemes and yojanas which help in entrepreneurs and people who want to start something new. The first one is the TN Horticulture Mission and NABARD Kisan Credit Scheme. This is more linked to agricultural products like mushrooms and vegetables and fruits, and the Kisan Credit Scheme also groups poultry and fishing and all these, even prawn culture. So all these are in the part of the NABARD and TN Horticulture. Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana and Prime Minister's Employment Generation. These two programs are through the banks, and they provide entrepreneurship the much needed money to start something new. And this can be of the textile industry, and even if they want to start their own businesses in the shop or in the form of retail shops, and it gives a wide more opportunities, even as simple as a bakery, a dry cleaning, a repair shop. So all these opportunities, and this is the time of innovation. So what ideas you can that can be strategized and planned through any of the schemes given by the government. So these links are directly to the government web pages. They're also useful for looking for it. So today we are actually celebrating the World Environment Day, and the lockdown has given the much breathing space, could say, to the earth to rejuvenate, to clean up, and we have obtained cleaner water, cleaner air, and better earth because of the lockdown strategy all over the world. And the lesser cars and the many of the factories are right now shut down. So because of which effluents are not moving into the rivers and the water bodies. So these we have actually in this few months we have taken several steps ahead in the to get cleaner air. So we have employed many strategies. Like one of the example here is the Dolada range. So this range is visible from Jalandhar after several decades because of the cleaner air and the reduction in the air pollution. So if you can see here, the river Ganga becomes clear and considered fit to be drinking at the Haridwar. So we also know about a scheme was launched to clean the Ganga with which involved crores of money, but involving STPs. But this was not able to. We were not able to get the desired outcome. But a few months of lockdown has brought this change into the environment. So in this, since we have got this several steps ahead, we need to take care of the environment, reduce our wastage, and take steps to protect the environment. So something else that I want to discuss here is better kitchen and hygiene practices. So after this COVID started, people are more aware that they have to clean their hands well, and they have to wash their vegetables, and they have to the groceries once they come home. And this awareness has gone into the masses. So if you see, traditionally, our grandparents and our parents, they have the to wash vegetables with. Turmeric and vinegar. So right now, this is for because of the COVID spread, people are taking extra steps to clean the groceries and taking care to wash. So usually in the fast forward world, which wash hand use will happen so quickly. But right now we take care and we are conscious that we have to wash and we have to wash groceries. So in this, I want to add some points that what are the advantages of washing groceries? One is removal of pathogens, removal of germs. The other thing is removal of heavy metals and cancer causing herbicides and pesticides, because this is increasing more. And in the rural population also, we are observing cancer hotspots. Cancer hotspots means those places which have high number of cancer patients. These are developing. Earlier we used to say that only the city areas, they have pollution, and the hotspots are only in the city, but now it's seen also in the village areas. This majorly is contributed because of the fruits and vegetables. So we have to take care in general, not only during COVID, but also in the future, to wash and clean the vegetables and groceries to remove the toxic substances like herbicides, pesticides, and heavy metals. So post-COVID workforce. So going to the next topic, getting ready for the new normal. So working through the pandemic. So in the education side, opportunities and entrepreneurship, I've also covered points regarding our work system and what we can expect. And as students, for students, how they can plan their, what are the upskilling they have to do. The current employees also should, plan to do upskilling to improve their profile. Right now, working from home, there's some points I want to share is set a routine for your work from home and keep communication open with your peer and employees. That is one thing which, when we are facing going forward, that we can see each other, we have a direct meeting. But right now, when we are doing work from home, the most important thing is to keep communication open with your higher ups, with your peer members. That will help in establishing and increasing their productivity. Learning new skills online, this upskilling I already discussed. The second, like for example, academic and science field, you should use this time for scientific writing and publication, writing book chapter, articles, blogs. So these are the ways in which we can. So once we join into work, so we have to be aware of COVID and what are the symptoms. So why I have put this slide is that we know the most common symptoms, that is fever, dry cough, tiredness. Other than that, there are some less common symptoms also that we should know once we venture out for work. Those are aches and pains, sore throat, diarrhea, conjunctivitis, headache, loss of taste and smell, rash on the skin, and discoloration of fingers and toes. So if there are new additions in this will be, you have put the link here. So WHO updates all over the world what are the less common, more common symptoms. Those are updated, and these are important for you also to realize whether there are symptoms. If there are symptoms, then immediately the person should stop coming from work, should go for testing and take care of their health. Asymptomatic people, the individuals who are asymptomatic can also spread the infection. That is why people who are already in contact with positive people, COVID positive people, who are in the risk of, they should quarantine and take care, even suppose if there is a situation like that in the future also. Now, working through a pandemic or working post COVID, be self-reliant when it comes to COVID prevention. So, of course, all organizations will be taking steps to, promote better hygiene and to take care of their employees. But as an individual, you should be self-reliant and carry extra mask, carry hand sanitizer, especially if you're traveling in a public transport. Keep clean disposable tissues and hand wash liquid. So once you have reached your office or once you have reached your work area, after that onwards, you need not use a hand sanitizer. You can go and use the hand wash liquid. Some points I want to cover for mask. So remove the mask if it is damp or wet. If it is damp or wet, no more it's going to filter any viruses. It will give an easy transport of viruses if the mask is wet or it is damp. Do not touch the front of the mask. Always use the strings and pull out a mask from only use from your ear. Don't pull the mask down into your just below the nose. So that thing should not, because it immediately transfers. Suppose if there are viral particles, immediately transfers to your face. And do not reuse disposable masks. And one of the errors that we also do is while jogging, exercising, brisk walking, when we go for morning walks and jogs, we are wearing the mask. So once you are into the open and once you are in an area where there is no people, you should remove the mask and then do brisk walking, exercising, because wearing mask for a long time reduces your oxygen flow and it can lead to hypoxia in your body. So these are the care that you must take when you are wearing mask. Now we are also seeing face shield. So we have to maintain a distance of 1 meter, 3 foot. Suppose in your work area it is not possible. Like for example, you're traveling and people who are working in a hospital environment and quarantine centers and COVID camps, or you are in an area where you have to work with so many people around you who are coming, who have to constantly come within this 1 meter area. So then you need to protect yourself with a face shield as well as a mask. Again, it cannot be worn for a very long period of time because it reduces your hypoxia. Okay. So I was talking about face shield. So face shield should be used in such situations. So do not go for work if you show any symptoms. So this is a very important thing to prevent spread of your infection to the people who are at your work. Another thing I want to stress in this: people who are dependent on you, in the sense like your housemaid and the cleanliness workers in your institution, they should be given proper awareness, because as I said before, we are all in this together. So the individuals who are coming to clean our room, if they are not properly protected, then in the coming days, definitely it will also affect our health too. So they awareness should be given to cleanliness workers and people who are around us, so that they are also protected. In turn, the entire institution is protected. So about 80% people recover from this disease without needing any special treatment. And we should actively take care of our health, report to a hospital if there is a situation. So I'd like to conclude by saying that refine, tweak your best practices, make it work, adapt to the situation, because it's a totally different one and it's a change. It's a constant change which all over the world, all of us are facing, and redefine. So with this, I would like to conclude. Any questions? You can put in the chat box. So I
Yes, ma'am.
received a question. Once people get their virus cure from the hospital, do they infect again? So right now, what the WHO says is, if a person has suffered and once the result comes that they are cleared and no more they are showing positive, then the person will not infect other people again. If they're completely cured of the virus, then they will not infect other people and they have an immunity. How long that immunity will remain, we'll come to know only in the coming months. So that information is not clear. So usually, like we said, if we get an immunity over the lifelong immunity, that factor has not yet come out and we'll come to know only in the coming months. Right now, what the WHO says is if people have been infected and they have been cleared of the infection, then they will not spread the infection again to others surrounding them. Any other question? Yes. So I've got a comment like you said positive impact of digitalization in education, but it is not cost effective to all economic backgrounds of students. This is correct because especially people in the rural areas and many of currently the students they don't have a laptop and they don't have a desktop. So what has happened right now is all institutions have realized that online means so India was especially lagging in this field where digitalization of education has not happened. So this actually is a trigger factor, or it creates a channel where in the future people will realize the importance of digitalization and the use of smartphones and the use in the positive effect to learn more, to collaborate with people. And immediate, it is not a solution to all the schools, and it is not a solution to all the colleges, especially people who are living in the remote areas. But what I'm saying is, it presents an opportunity in the future to better evolve our education system. Okay, there's a question on plasma therapy. So, plasma therapy, what they do is the person who has recovered from COVID-19, they in their immune system, their body has their blood will have the what to say the blood cells to fight against possible corona and covid, and their immune system is already active. So what we do is we extract the plasma from such individuals and transfer the plasma to another patient. This is usually happening only in high risk individuals, people who are in the ICU and in the ventilator, so that this additional plasma that they are receiving will help them fight the covid viruses and help them to their body to stabilize. This is where the situation is now. Plasma therapy is right now not given to all COVID positive people. Yes, another question is digitalization. There is a concern about data security. So yes, this is an aware and once digitalization opens up, I think everyone, not only the computer science people, but every person who is in the field must realize about what are the data security and installing antivirus, not looking at the websites, going only to accredited sites. All those things are something which comes in this learning phase, and I think it will be something which all of us will learn to take care of data security, not share it. Just like banking system, how people have realized with time what are the do's and don'ts. Even online system, we have to equip ourselves with that. Whether alternative medicine will help to overcome COVID. There is no alternative medicine to help with COVID because it's a viral disease. As I said, even as we know that even antibiotics cannot solve the COVID. It is a virus, and our immune system must recognize and fight. So that is the only solution that can be done. We can keep a healthy immune system by taking vitamin-rich foods, eating fruits, vegetables, and involving garlic. And our Indian health system, foods are actually immune boosting. So we follow all those traditions to keep a healthy immune system. But ultimately, the virus has to be fought by our immune system, and there is no alternative medicine to cure COVID. The question is how long a patient who recovered from COVID will have antibodies. So, as I told a few minutes back, the antibodies length of the antibodies is not yet. I told you a chart where previously in my PPT there are 7 coronaviruses which are infecting humans. The first 4 are the common cold. The common cold gives antibodies, that particular type gives antibodies for 1 to 2 years in individuals. And for SARS, MERS, and COVID, till now, we do not know for how long that antibodies are going to remain in that person. So only time will tell, and more research will tell us that how long this antibodies and how long that particular person will be immune to the COVID. Kindly explain about second waves. So second waves are actually the second outbreaks of the COVID. So this is usually happens because of complacency. That is, people realize that okay, now we are okay. People go back to their normal ways and they don't follow social distancing. They don't take care. So this is a continuous message. So if suppose we are working in an institution or wherever we are working, we have to constantly put posters and give the instructions so that people on a day-to-day basis are remembering that, these are the steps that we need to take care. And if there is an outbreak, it has to be reported. We should not alienate or marginalize those people, and immediately care should be provided, and fast response to hospital should be done. Can coronavirus be completely eradicated like a smallpox virus? So herd immunity. So right now we know that SARS and MERS. So right now we have closed the WHO's that pandemic of SARS and pandemic of MERS has been over. So pandemic and SARS and MERS was over because we were able to successfully do contact tracing. Contact tracing is who is the person who is affected, isolate them, who are around them, isolate them. So using those methods, you were able to subside or completely remove that virus from the human population. There may be an outbreak, but right now we have declared WHO has declared those pandemics to be over. So the same situation can happen for COVID. So in this, because it's a high transmission virus and it has spread out to large communities, people are working to bring out vaccine. They are doing contact tracing. They are following social distancing. So if we follow these guidelines properly, I think we can achieve this. We can bring this pandemic also to an end. The next question is, if we remain at home, will we get infected because we are coming in contact with milkman and newspaper boy? So what I suggest is when you are purchasing the getting any packets, milk packets, try to wash it once in tap water and then use it. So you can prevent any germs which are there on the surface can be removed. And we suggest always a milkman newspaper. They should be wearing mask. If they are not wearing mask, then it is not following the guidelines. So we should always encourage people around us to always wear mask, and that will help in protection of you as well as the persons also. Can you please suggest home remedies for COVID-19? So there is no home remedies that can fix or prevent you from getting COVID-19. Each person's immune system reacts differently. In a same family, one person shows very severe effect, and the person gets only sore throat, and the other person gets only loss of taste. So each individual person's immune system, and we cannot predict what that immune system may react. We can only eat healthy foods that we already know. We know that we have to eat fruits, vegetables, vitamin C rich food. So these are the only things which can, support our immune. We can only support our immune system because of our practices. But there is no sure way of killing the viruses through food. Body pain, loose motion, headache, are they also to check corona test? Body pain, loose motion, headache, they are also symptoms of corona. So as we know that we have the Arogya Setu app, so we can also contact healthcare officials through the Arogya Setu app, or if you can have contact through your nearest health centers, please make a call and tell them about your situation. Ayurveda or Siddha can cure COVID virus? Yes or no? So as a straightaway answer, the answer is no. Ayurveda and the medicines that we follow traditionally can support our immune system, can boost our immune system, and give us a better fighting chance to fight infections, viruses, bacteria. That we can do. Can corona undergo any mutation? Yes. Coronavirus, actually, we got coronavirus, the human population facing coronavirus because of mutation. So coronavirus, which was in animals, has mutated, because of which now it can attack, it can fix to the molecules which are present in our cell system and cause the effect. Can CRISPR technology be used to find a solution for this? So gene editing has been employed to create, different vaccine strategies. So they are today there was a news where India has collaborated with the University of Oxford to launch to help out in the vaccine. They are in the third phase of a vaccine, and we have collaborated with them so that we can also receive the vaccine. That vaccine is actually a modified version where the gene has been edited that it cannot multiply anymore in the human population. And these strategies actually help in vaccine development. Use only N95 masks and not other masks. So always the commercial grade mask, the surgical mask, N95 mask, they give more protection to us than homemade. But suppose if those are not available to you, then it is best to use a homemade mask, because something is better than nothing. If you are using a homemade mask, see that it is not, a lot of larger pores should not be present. Like if it is a dupatta, make 5 to 6 layers, and then you use on your cover your nose. There should not be any air gaps. It should be tightly covered. So these things you can improvise. There are many videos also available online which gives you ideas on how to make your own mask. But it should not be, ultimately the virus should not enter into your nose. So you have to give the layers of protection. The best is to use the surgical mask, and if you have N95 mask, then use N95 mask. If only in a situation where these are not available to you, then better to prepare your own mask, by folding the cloth in several layers, and then using, rather than not using any mask. Is coronavirus harmful than SARS and any other pandemic? Yes, coronavirus is more harmful than SARS and other pandemic. As I said, it has high transmission rate. Death rate is low in coronavirus than SARS, but because of the high transmission rate, it can affect more number of people. As you can see, it has affected a large number of people in all the continents, and this has in turn led to a large number of deaths. So yes, because of the high transmission rate of COVID, it is more dangerous than SARS. Yeah, thank you so much for your positive comments. Any other questions? I think can wind up. Can blood type of a person influence COVID risk? Actually, recently there is some research papers which are coming that group A is showing, more risk to COVID than other blood groups, but there is no confirmation on this. So what I would suggest is please refer WHO and CDC guidelines always, because they compile there, because a lot of information is coming from many sources, and they compile and only give the correct information in the WHO, CDC, even ICMR, websites. And if there is any detraction, also they are updating that. So I think there's no situation of panic in that. Okay. Thank you so much for attending this webinar. I hope it was useful to you. Thank you.